Okay, what up ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully, one of your favorite official content creators for the First Descendant. And today, we're going to talk about the Exterminator. Now, this weapon sucks. Okay, it is very poor compared to Restored Relic. For those of you that saw the testing live on stream, you will know that it is much slower compared to the Restored Relic. If we use the same Gley build, no differences between the two. The Exterminator is built exactly like the Restored Relic, and it is so much worse. Okay, let me explain why. First, let's take a look at the base stats of the weapon. This weapon has explosive attack and fire attack. All right. The base stats for both are actually higher than the Restored Relic, but even though it's higher, it doesn't perform as well. What is the reason for this? Okay, the reason for this is nothing to do with the base stats, but if you take a look at the crucial stats, which is critical hit rate, weak point damage, and the multi-hit damage, okay, for critical hit rate, we have less than Restored Relic. Okay, just for comparison, the Restored Relic's base critical is 20% with 1.2. The Exterminator is 10% with 1.15, so you can't go crits. Now, multi-hit on the Restored Relic at base is 0.58. The Exterminator at base for multi-hit is at 0.19, meaning that multi-hit here is really low. Weak point damage is 1 times, and the Restored Relic weak point damage is also 1 times. So this weapon basically is the type that functions purely on raw stats. You can't really build it up with a lot of other things, so overall it's pretty weak. Now, in terms of its unique ability, all right, now that you understand the base stats and you understand that this thing is pretty much, you just shove in as much raw damage as you can and pray that it actually does something, but realistically it's still overall weak. Why is that? The unique ability of this actually reduces the damage you deal. So when you lock onto targets, take note that your explosive rounds can hit up to it can lock onto 6 targets every 0.05 seconds. It's got a radius of 5 meters, and the damage dealt when you use the lock-on arrow is 43.8% of your normal damage. Now, when it comes to breaking the carapace hull, it does 65.7% of your regular damage, which is still bad. The only thing that it's actually good against is the cluster sack, cluster tunnel, and assault ship, for which it deals 1051% damage. So what does this mean? For pretty much everything other than the assault ships, the cluster tunnel, and cluster sack, the Restored Relic is going to outclass this on so many levels, especially if you lock on. If you try and fire this normally without locking on, you will hit for more damage, but that takes away the whole thing that's special about this. So basically this thing is garbo. All right, so that's the unique ability, and that's fully maxed out. Is it still functional though? You can kind of still use it. This is the actual build for it. All right, so I shoved in as much raw attack as I could. Rifling reinforcement, action and reaction, and charge amplification all increases explosive attack. So this is the base. All right, then you've got fire rate up, fire enhancement, and fire priority. This is pretty standard again for improving the amount of fire attack that you already have in this weapon. Then on top of that, we use the multi-percussion sight and multi-piercing sight to get more multi-hit damage and more multi-hit and some multi-hit chance. Last but not least, we've got multi-bullet, so that when you land a multi-hit, the multi-hit damage will increase. Okay, and it will also inflict deep wounds on the target. So this is the best that I could do with this. I don't see any other way to make this better. But if you were to take a look at the stats for this weapon, this is the Exterminator right here. Okay, the multi-hit chance is 63%, and the multi-hit damage is 0.47. So you're effectively getting a 1.5 times multiplier whenever you trigger a multi-hit, which is not great, but it is what it is, and that's literally the best you can do. All right. There's no other way to build this up because everything else is worse. All right, so just take note, everything else is worse. This is what we got. This is the maximum value that you're gonna get. Now, for the rolls, in terms of the core rolls, we actually have the exact same ones that we have for the Restored Relic. 3 fire rate cores, all 20%, and 2 fire attack, all maxed out. For your weapon readjustments, you'll want multi-hit chance, multi-hit damage, fire attack, and explosive attack. This is the best bang for my buck that I could get for this, and it is, well, this is as decent as it's going to get. Now, this is Gley. You should already be familiar with my Gley build. It's exactly the same one that we use for the Restored Relic. Arcade tuning is going to be the same one that I used for the Restored Relic. Okay, this is all about multi-hits. So let's give this a go. All right. I want to show you what this can do, and we'll go to the Axion Plains to do it. AX Refinery, and then there's Liquefied AX Vault. Okay. So we'll go to the Liquefied AX Vault, private run. All right. Let me show you how this weapon is used in the field. And if you guys missed the testing against Restored Relic, you can ask me to do a sort of versus video, but I'll just show you an example, and you can try it for yourself with your Restored Relic build, and you'll go back to Restored Relic in just 1 second. But anyway, this is what the Exterminator looks like. People have told me that they were excited for this. I would say, please don't be excited. You should remove all excitement that you have for this, because it is not worth your time, honestly.
New subscriber detected.
Hey, new subscriber. Woo! That's nice. Okay, so we're gonna start the mission right now. Alright, let's do this. Whoa. Sorry about that. That's supposed to appear at the end.
Descendant.
Alright, let's go.
Vulgus comms traffic is increasing at your location. It looks like Legion of Breach troops have been deployed. Descendant. Requesting takedown of enemy
Okay,
assault.
so if you lock on, or you try to lock on, you can absolutely blast targets, don't get me wrong. But as you can see, the damage is lower than if you were to just do this. If you just fire it like this, your damage is actually higher. Which is what's crazy. Now you can get rid of the ships faster this way. Okay, so you deal extra damage to ships in that way. But for the average Vulgus, you're not actually going to do much. So I just don't feel that you get good value out of it. Like, it's got a semi-decent AoE, so you can, like, I guess if you really, really like to shoot rockets, this can kind of fulfill your fantasy, but Restored Relic does the same thing. It literally does the same thing, just that this one has lock-on. So, as you can see, the value of this is much lower than Restored Relic. Okay? You can still get stuff done with it,
Breach creature
but
response confirmed.
it's not that great.
Approaching location.
Now, the cluster sacks and the tunnels, okay, they take bonus damage, so you can sort of wipe this out really quickly. The tunnels, cluster sacks, all that, they get wiped out pretty fast. Okay, there you go. Now, when you want to wipe out these guys, unless you have a real need for it, you probably don't want to be using the lock-on version, to be honest. Like I said, it's actually much slower than if you just clear them like this. Treat this like a Gatling gun instead, and just, like, you know, sort of fire your rockets this way. You'll actually get way more value out of this. Again, Restored Relic with cluster bombardment is probably going to get you way better results, but, you know, there's an Exterminator demonstration, so I guess, you know, no point griping too much, right? I said what I had to say. Now, this is the breach discharger, right? So that was just firing it like this. It's much slower if you try and fire it like this. Look at how different the damage is, and you cannot hit weak spots. The lock-on version cannot hit weak spots, so it's actually better if you hip fire it when you have to deal with targets like that.
Colony of breach creatures.
Now, you can also, if you so choose, build up a bit of weak point damage here, but, I mean, it's really up to you if you want to do that. I'm just fine with it as is. It's an alright weapon, you know. Not super great, not super bad, but if you really want some alternative to the Restored Relic, This is fine. This is fine.
Primary tactical objective confirmed. Requesting search and destroy.
The only benefit is destroying the carapace armor really fast, which is nice. There you go. So if you want to use the Exterminator with Gley, it'll take you about 4 minutes 32 seconds to do this. Restored Relic was about 4 minutes and 8 seconds. So you save about 20 seconds per run, like going pound for pound. But that's about it. That's how the Exterminator works. If you guys like the build, then feel free to use it. But I'm going to tell you that, again, if you want a real weapon, just play the Restored Relic. I mean, the DPS is already 200,000 higher on the Restored Relic, just at base. And if you were to look at the actual DPS, it's about 3 million, whereas this one is at 1.8, so it's about double if you take a look at what the Restored Relic can do. And the Restored Relic has a much easier time hitting weak spots and dealing extra damage from them. So, just so you know, okay? Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Alright, I'm sorry that I ran through this a bit quickly, but I was really tight for time today, so I apologize for that. Here are August top supporters. Thank you guys so much for keeping this channel alive. Don't forget, Baron Von Crash is supposed to be up there. I'll get a fresh screenshot soon. But thank you so much for everything you guys do for me. You guys are amazing. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't do anything too weird while I'm gone. Enjoy the Exterminator if you want to, and I'll see you later, okay? Bye!